Previously on Christian Humber Reloaded. Corrupted Blade's return and the truth about Seasonbringer. Seasonbringer and I did some stretches, then we started sparring. The truth is, I was scared to transform. He saw it in my eyes and he told me,
I know you're scared to transform, but trust me, because I know what I'm doing.
I nodded and started to transform into a Super Saiyan. When Corrupted Blade appeared and possessed Seasonbringer, I yelled, Seasonbringer! He attacked me and I had to free Seasonbringer from my corrupted self without hurting him. I realized Corrupted Blade's original body was destroyed and the only way it could remain in my world is by stealing someone else's body. I hated him after I found that out. I was really getting sick and tired of Corrupted Blade. I transformed and used Claw of Exorcism and freed Seasonbringer from him and used Claw of Oblivion, which destroyed him and erased him from the universe. Seasonbringer thanked me, and he saw my true power and my new form. He saw why I didn't want to transform. It was because I barely have control of my new form. After I went back to normal, he told me something that surprised me. He said,
Blade, I have something to tell you.
I said, what's up? Then he said,
Blade, I'm your older brother.
I screamed, my older brother? How can you be my brother when we were born in different families? He said,
I was born 2 years before you were born. I was born with the power over the seasons.
I asked, how could you transform into a Super Saiyan when you're a pure dragon? He said,
I also have Saiyan blood flowing through my veins like you do.
I thought to myself, I can't believe it, a dragon? My brother? What the fuck is going on? I started crying and said, you're lying. I saw my family die. I saw them die and I couldn't stop the hunters from killing them. I wish I could go back in time and prevent them from dying. Seasonbringer said.
You can.
I looked at him and he repeated.
You can save them, but you will alter the present.
I thought about that for a moment, then I said, I will take that risk in order to save my family. He shook his head and I said, I will get their DNA and have them cloned. Then I will stop time and replace them with the clones and bring my real family to the present. And I did go back in time, got their DNA samples, got them cloned, and I brought the clones with me to the past. I waited until the hunters appeared and I froze time and replaced my real family with the clones. Reunited with my family. I brought them to the present and said to Seasonbringer, I told you I could do it and no damage to the fabric of time. He nodded, and when my parents regained their senses, they panicked. I told them, it's okay, you're safe now. They looked at me in confusion, so I told them the truth about myself, and I showed them my birthmark. My mom said,
Kibasu, look at you, you're all grown up.
I told them, my real name is Kibasu, but I prefer to be called Blade. She said,
that name is too violent for a sweetie like you.
I said, watch the most wanted criminals on TV. You might see me listed on it. They did watch it and saw my name and what crimes I've done. That surprised them. I told them how I became one of the world's most wanted. I told them why the police gave up on hunting me. They stopped hunting me because I was too much of a threat to them by personally destroying police stations, blowing up army bases, breaking the speed limit, leveling cities, and many more. When I told them that, they were shaking their heads in disbelief that I did all those crimes. I told my mom about the far plane and my corrupted self. Living with my family again.
Later that day,
I asked Yuna to sing Bring Me to Life for my parents and she agreed. While she was getting ready, I was doing the same. That night, she was on the deck of the airship. She started singing it, and I came out and was playing the electric guitar. I also had a microphone, and I did the male voice in the song. Titus was playing an electric guitar, Waka was playing the drums, Riku played the keyboard. On the screen behind us, it was showing something jawsome! Titus and I sung Runaway.
He was wearing his gothic clothing and he had a sword on him. I looked over at Cheza while she was watching the concert. She looked confused at the way Blade was dressed.
After that song, I put on one recording of Avenged Sevenfold's concert. They played Unholy Confessions just to pretty much make a mash pit, but I got my parents out of there before the song started. The Shadow Returns. While I was looking at the stars to read the prophecies of the world, I saw a legend in the stars that said,
"The darkness that was banished by light will return and try to plunge the world into shadow. Thus the Chosen One will face the shadow again and banish it again."
After I read that, I was confused because Sora and I have defeated the darkness together. Then I got a transmission from Sora. He said,
"I have bad news."
I asked, "What's the bad news?" He said,
"The Heartless have returned and are trying to plunge all the worlds into the shadows."
I said, "Damn it, how stubborn are these pieces of shit? They get their asses kicked and they come back for more." He said nothing and I said, "I'll be right there." I told my parents about my mission and they begged me not to go, but I told them I'll be okay so you don't have to worry about me. I gave them a scout droid to watch me fight the Heartless. When I got there, Sora had his hands full and I put on Linkin Park, Runaway. When it came on, I pulled Tetsume out and used the Wind Scar against the Heartless. It did take a lot out of them, but more came, and I said, "I will regret this later, but I will take the risk." Sora asked me,
"The risk?"
I said, "I'm going to become a demon." He screamed,
"What are you nuts?"
I said, "I know what I'm doing," and I changed the song to Evanescence, Lies, and right when it came on, I held Tetsume out to the side and dropped it. I told Sora, "Run, because when I do transform, I will kill everything that I see." He nodded, picked up Tetsume, and ran. Enter the demon side again. I let a Heartless hit me down. They began to slash, claw, and bite me until I was near death. Then I transformed.
When Blade transformed, his eyes were blood red, claws extended, fangs became longer, and he had marks on the side of his face. He then began the slaughter of the Heartless. It was scary because he took pleasure in killing everyone that he sees. It took him 2 hours to kill all of them. After he killed all of them, he was gloating over how he killed them easily. I then remembered he told me that he is wearing the necklace Kagone gave him. I told her, and Sid put the speaker on for the droid, and she yelled, "Sit, boy!" He fell on his face and returned to normal. I gave Tetsume back to him. Aboard the airship, we watched him transform and brutally kill the Heartless.
The true destruction of chaos. I knew about the risk, and I took it to save Sora, but my soul became more tainted from that transformation. I got a transmission from Seasonbringer, and he said,
"The Eye of Terror is back."
I said, "Finally, I can use my true power, and all my sides united and vaporize the ugly motherfucker once again, but this time, I'm going to use all my power." Sora looked at me scared. I asked him, "You want to tag along?" He said,
"Yeah."
I opened a portal to the Eye of Terror's location. I gave Sora a mask and he saw it. The Eye of Terror, the home of my ultimate enemy, Chaos. Zero was with me as well. I yelled, "I'm back!" Nothing happened, and I used my telekinesis to throw an asteroid into the eye. After I did that, corrupted space marines, demons, and chaos ships came out of it, and I yelled, "Remember me?" Most of Chaos didn't, but the Dark Gods did remember me. The Dark Gods sent all their minions at Sora, Zero, and myself. I pulled Tetsume out, Sora pulled out his Keyblade, and Zero pulled his Z-Saber out, and we began to slash Chaos's forces to bits. The Dark Gods pulled their weapons out and charged at us. It was hard to hold their forces back and fight them as well. I got hit a couple times, but I didn't care because I was too focused on fighting the Dark God who I was enslaved to. I put on Avenged Sevenfold's Unholy Confessions, and when it came on, I began to transform into my new form, but this time my power was at least 900 times stronger than it was in the far plane. The Elder yelled into the radio, "No, don't transform! You have no control over that power!" I said calmly, "Don't have a heart attack, old man. I know what I'm doing."
When Blade said that, the Elder was shocked to hear that from him. I asked the Elder what happened to him. The Elder told me,
"He has no personality when he is in that form."
I yelled to him, "God damn it, Blade, obey the Elder because he has been around longer than you have." He said,
"Fuck off."
I was pissed off at him, but I kept my cool.
When he turned his back on me, I realized I have no kindness in this form, so I said into the radio, "I'm sorry for being an asshole to you." He turned around and said,
"Thanks."
I gave him a thumbs up, and I went back to my fight with Chaos. I yelled, "This is it, Chaos! Your death is at hand! Now die, you goddamn motherfuckers, pieces of shit, and go to hell, your ugly son of a B asterisk 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 asterisk!" And I focused all my energy into my hands, and I used the Spirit Bomb and threw it into the Eye of Terror's heart, and Zero used his charged buster to destroy the bomb. The Aftermath and Blade's Recovery. After the Spirit Bomb detonated, I had to be taken to the far plane to recover by using the far plane's energy.
We laid Blade next to a pool of water and helped him drink from it. He told us,
"Go, take care of the stragglers of Chaos."
I said, "I won't leave you to die here." He said,
"I won't, because I have my brother and father to keep me company while you kill the rest of Chaos."
When Sora emerged from the far plane, he was shaking his head. Everyone started crying for Blade, and then he said,
"Blade won't be able to fight for a couple months. He's resting in the far plane, and he told me to tell you not to visit him because he needs to be with his family in the far plane." I told Yuna to stay with him and help him drink far plane water, which has incredible healing properties. Cheza wanted to see him, but I stopped her and said, "He's in good hands, but I'll let you go see him," and I let her pass, and then millions of people wanted to see him, so they tried to get through, but I had trouble holding them back, so Lulu helped by casting Viraga, which helped hold them back. I yelled to Riku, "Use the songstress stress sphere and sing them something," and she did!
Deep in the far plane, I still couldn't move because of my injuries. Cheza appeared and helped me eat some soup.
Above ground, the people still wanted to see Blade, so I asked Sid if he could have a scout droid keeping an eye on him, and he did send the droid down there, and it did watch him. I put on monitor to have the people see how he is doing in recovery. Jesus Christ, some of the guys are fucking perverts who were trying to look at my panties, so I drew my sword and cut a pervert's hand off for squeezing my ass. Riku was also having the same problem as me. Then Waka came up to me and said,
"Jeez, Pain, to the guys here, you're attractive to them."
I said they'd touch me and they will get hurt. I let Tidus though because he is a good friend to Blade. Pain and Riku were still getting harassed, so I cast Thundaga and it scared the perverts, and she slashed one of them. I let Waka and Lulu, though, to have some time alone to care for their son, who is extremely adorable.
Back in the far plane, a Moogle appeared and brought some medicine to help me recover. I knew the Moogle, whose name is Kupo. I met him when I was in Traverse Town. Well, more like saved him from the Heartless, and in return, he gave me all the keychains for my Keyblade, except one, the ultimate weapon keychain. So in order to get the ultimate weapon, I have to gather the supplies for it, but since I'm hurt badly, I can't. I asked Tidus to find the resources for it, but Kupo said,
"You don't have to go look for the supplies."
I asked, why? The resources are all over the world. Then he said,
They are all located in here.
Then I asked Titus to search the farplane with Kupo for the supplies.
2 hours later!
They found all the resources for the last keychain. Kupo said he would go synthesize the items to make it, and when he returned, he gave it to me and I pulled out my keyblade and attached it. Right before my eyes, my keyblade began to glow and change shape. When the bright light dimmed, I was holding the strongest keyblade in the world. The Omega Weapon. I asked Kupo if he could fuse all the keychains into one. He did do it, he told me.
It's very unstable, so be careful when using it.
I said, I will. I asked Sora to come and cast Kiraga on me, and when he did, most of my wounds healed quickly, so I got up and began to leave the farplane.
Above ground, when Blade emerged, everyone began to rush him. I couldn't stop them, and then Blade held his keyblade above his head and said,
The power is incredible, so I will have to be careful. Then Sora told me about the rich snob's plans, and I said, let's go and crash that party. By sneaking in and look like you're enjoying the party until I give you the signal. They nodded, and we got ready for the party. The surprise.
Hours later.
We arrived at the party and got into our positions, waiting for the opportunity to crash it.
Blade took care of the security. Toby took the role in disabling the power. Hige was lookout, Sume waited on the stairs, Kiba waited on a chandelier, and I acted as a butler. Blade entered through an open window and used his speed to get onto a chandelier and said to Toby,
Cut the power. And he did! When the lights went out for a minute, I jumped down from my hiding spot, and when the lights came on, I was wearing sunglasses, black trench coat, and I was holding a minigun in each hand and said sarcastically, Where's the party? The snobs yelled out,
Gods, kill them!
I opened fire, destroying all the priceless articles and killing hundreds of guards, and I yelled into my radio, Now! Then the rest of my team appeared and began slaughtering the guards.
5 minutes later!
The mansion is in ruins and the floor is stained with blood. I said, I had a fun time, so see ya, and left with my team. That was probably the best party to crash because my team and I caused $1 trillion worth of damage or more. The transformation into a dragon? The amount of casualties the snobs have was in the thousands. While I was walking out, I grabbed a beer, but I didn't expect what would happen to me when I drank the beer. I felt a little strange, but I ignored it until I felt pain shoot through my body and I screamed out in pain. Sora, Tsume, Kiba, Hige, and Toby surrounded me, asking me questions. I finally managed to yell, Get away from me! They kept asking questions and I yelled, Get the fuck away from me! And my shirt began to tear and wings shot out of my back and they ran. When my transformation was done, I asked, What happened? Sora said,
Look in a mirror.
When I did, I screamed and fell over backwards. I could not believe what just happened to me. I became a dragon who is pure black. I knew some dragon hunters, but I had to hide until I could return to normal again. I found a place to stay. It was a barn. I hid in the loft and waited. The Discovery. Later that night, I was meditating when a kid entered the barn and began to climb the ladder to the loft, and I quickly lied down and kept my eye on the ladder. When the kid got up into the loft, I held my breath, and the kid took one look at me and began to scream when I grabbed him with my tail and told him telepathic, Be quiet, I don't want to get caught and killed by hunters. He nodded. I said, Look, kid, I need to stay hidden until I can control this body, and don't tell anyone. If you do, I will have to kill you and your family. Got it? Then my stomach growled. I then said, Return here with food every night, because if you don't, your entire family will die. He nodded. He did bring me food and kept me company for a while until his father got suspicious and came out to see what was going on in their barn. Hige alarmed my team and I told Hige to keep him distracted until I was hidden. Next time on Christian Humber Reloaded. Will Christian Humber learn to mark his sudden POV changes like a good bad fanfiction writer? Can Seymour find a way to peacefully end the Alice game? Do Vashblade Kibasu's parents wish that they'd eaten him when they had the chance, seeing the monster that their son has become? Find out on the next episode of Christian Humber Reloaded.